All right, everybody. It's Ryan Hayes, and here with Domenic Munaretto from Illinois. Uh, Won the U17 world trials, 45 kilograms over the weekend in Las Vegas. One of the kids that's going out to Rome, Italy, to wrestle for a UWW World Championship. So, Domenic Munaretto, I've interviewed you a bunch of times. Kind of give me just a little bit of time to do like a whole kind of podcast session with you. So what's up, man? What's been going on?
Nothing much. Just got back from practice, grinding, trying to get ready for World Championships.
So I want to know just a little bit about that tournament. I interviewed you a little bit after the match. I know a lot of other people interviewed you, but where do you think you stood at going into that tournament?
I always knew that I was a contender. Even though I was underranked, I was actually predicted to be 8th place. I knew going into the tournament that I had a good shot because I know that I could hang with them because I wrestle with the top kids all the time. I'm used to that level of competition and that level of pressure. I knew I could go out there and win, and that's what I did.
So you went out there. You just keep winning. Like you keep winning. Like I don't know what. Like there are times like where you would like not have like so much of a good tournament, right? Like you didn't win Super 32, but then you always just find a way to kind of get back on track and start winning again. And then you had to wrestle Haikon Peterson in the finals. And those Seabolt kids are freaking. They're raw, man.
Yeah.
How that was a tough match. I mean, and especially that it was just a very, very tough match. I think, what was it, like 4-2 you won the last
I won 4-0 and then 3-0.
3-0, yeah, something like that. It was really, really close. I mean, I know he didn't score, but like it was just tough. And
Yeah.
just tell me about that match.
Well, he is very good defense. He didn't do many attacks. He did a little bit more attacks in the second match, but like especially in the first match, he was blocking a lot. I could tell he didn't want to wrestle me, but like he was pretty strong. He had good ties, but he just didn't really do many attacks. And when he did attack, I capitalized and scored every time. Like whenever he took a shot, I scored. And even when he got in on my leg, I could out scramble him. Even in freestyle, I was able to get to my attacks off of his attacks, which I've been doing really good at. And him trying to stay low made it a little hard for me to get my underhooks, but they call him for passive, so it didn't make a difference. I still scored from that. And then he had to open up, and even when he opened up, I scored.
Now you're undersized. Talk to me a little bit about that. Did it play on your psyche a little bit?
No, I practiced with kids even bigger than the kids I wrestled then a lot. Like I would go to a high school room 2 days a week, and I wrestle with 120, 130 pounders. And then I go to toss them up, and I wrestle with Aaron Stewart, who's even bigger than them. I could handle wrestling up in size. I knew going into the tournament that it wasn't going to make much of a difference for me. It may make it a little bit tougher to score, but I'm gritty. I like that. I don't care. I can still score.
Right. So from like the Super 32 up to now, like what were some of the other tournaments in between that you were hitting?
Well, I went to Tulsa Nationals. I did some duels. I did VAC. Those were two big ones. I did Tulsa and VAC, and then I did a lot of training like Greco. Not a lot of Greco, but I would train like Greco once a month, trying to prepare for World Team Trials. I also did the state series, and then I did a few other tournaments off the top of my head, but like the two biggest ones were VAC and Tulsa Nationals. That's where I got payback a lot of my matches. That's where I picked it up. I also did middle school duels in the kickoff. And then I did folk style nationals in Reno, and I got the Trinity.
For sure, for sure. And you have like some heck of accomplishments. When you go into a tough tournament such as the World Trials, what are some of the things that you just think about first? Like what are the main things that you would prepare for going into tough tournaments?
I prepare to go into situations, even though I don't want to be there, because I want to be able to make it where it's not even going to be there. I want to be able to dominate the opponent. You always have to be prepared to get into those situations, even if you don't think you're going to get into them, because not being prepared is how you mess up. So I always prepare to be in those situations where you're tired, you don't want to wrestle. I always do that because the more you train that, the easier it gets. So the more you get into those matches, the easier it becomes. I always train for that, even though I don't want to be there in the matches. You always got to be prepared for it.
Right now, you wrestled. You did 2 tournaments, right? What was you did Greco, right?
Yeah, I did Greco.
And then did you do the one that was like youth, like the futures one? Did you do that one too, or the
When?
there, isn't there like one that like kind of middle schoolers do that, but it's for like Pan Am's or something? It's it's the
Well,
yeah.
this, this is also a qualifier. Like that's also the qualifier for Pan Am's. The one I went to this year. That's also the qualifier for Pan Am's.
Right. I thought there was like a middle school one. Like I know you're middle school, but like it's like features. Isn't that what you could you wrestle in that one too?
I could have done U15s also, but I didn't. I could have double bracketed, but I'd rather just get all the work in U17. I already got 11 matches. I want to make sure that I wasn't putting too many matches in. I just want to make sure I had all quality matches and not just overload myself with matches like that.
Makes
But I could have
sense.
done.
Right. I thought because I thought you might have done both. So it was Greco. Well, what do you like to? I mean, how do you like Greco as it compares to freestyle? What do you like better?
I like better that I don't have to that people can't touch my legs because I don't like have to like go in so cautiously. I mean, I still have to be cautious. I have to keep my arms in, make sure I don't give up any bad positions. But like, I don't have to like be worrying about a whole different aspect. But at the same time, one thing I like more about freestyle and folk style is there's a lot more combinations of offense you could get to. It's a lot faster pace styles than Greco because Greco is a lot of hand fighting and a lot of just mental smartness, like just thinking. It's a lot of thinking. While freestyle and folk style is a lot more strength and a lot more speed, because Greco is a lot of like just seeing angles and just getting to like different kinds of offense. Like I love Greco, but it's just a lot different. It's a lot more of a slow style, I'd say, than freestyle and folk style.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You so what's going to be your preparation for the World Championships?
This is where I hit the sprint. I've been sprinting. It's time to keep it up. It's time to let's keep going because I've got world championships in 3 months. I need to get as much in as I can before that time. I need to make sure I'm completely prepared mentally and physically for that tournament. I know it's not going to be a walk into the park, but I think I know I can handle it.
Do you know anything about those kids over there internationally? Like, have you ever been to a wrestle international competition before?
Not for many years. I did when I was like 11, but I was wrestling up in weight then too. But like I know how to see who I'm going to wrestle, or at least some of them. Because there's going to be a European Championships where I could see who I'll wrestle, but I won't get to see that until like June, because that one is until mid-June, the European Championships. But I could see like the 45 kilo wrestlers there, or some of them at least.
Right. What kind of wrestler do you consider yourself as?
I consider myself as a gritty wrestler. I like to put you into positions you don't want to be into. I like to get to my attacks, and I don't care about what you want to do. I'm just going to go do my stuff. I'm going to go get to what I want to do. Your moves be damned, because I like to get to my attacks. I like to do a lot of underhooks. I like to go upper body. I like to put people into uncomfortable positions that they don't want to be in, so they don't want to wrestle me. I want to make them not want to be on the mat with me. I want them, after the match, to not want to come back on the mat.
So now you go out there. I know you try to push the pace. But I want to know, like, even though you won the tournament, like, what are some wins and opportunities? Like, what do you think you did good at, and what do you think you could have worked on, even though you won the whole tournament?
Well, what I did good on is controlling positions. I did a very good job of getting to my underhooks, getting to my attacks, and making myself into great positions. One thing I could have done better, I think, was get to more shots. I did a lot of upper body. I did some shots, but I think I could have done a few more, especially in the finals match. I got to my underhooks pretty quickly, and I didn't really drag out enough. I didn't get a lot of other looks besides my underhooks. and I could have done a few more head pinches. I was a little timid with them, not in Greco as much, but in freestyle, like because I was a little nervous about them grabbing my legs, so I just had to work on that a little bit. But like there are just a few things like that I need to get a little bit better at, need to fix up on.
For sure. Like, so in a tournament that you don't do well at, how do you rebound from a bad performance?
Watch back my losses. I watch back my losses, see what I could have improved on. Like for example, when I lost in Greco, I had to watch it back, see what I did wrong. I just gave up a few bad moves in Greco. I got headlocked because I was wrestling a kid that was 17 years old, but still no excuse. The kid didn't even place, and I wrestled all the way back to third. I should have been able to beat him. Just got out of position twice, and I gave up 2 headlocks. Otherwise, I could have won the match. But I watched it back. Just got to fix my mistakes. Always improving.
So, talk to me a little bit about your growth and the impact of the Toss 'em Up Wrestling Club.
Huge impact. They always push me. Like even like when I'm in a tough state of mind or something like that, like I'm having a bad practice, they always make me pick it up. They always make sure I'm keeping good pace. They pay really good attention to their wrestlers. They always make sure everyone is doing the right thing. And if not, then we have to do push ups and stuff, which make you not want to mess up, obviously. It's just really good coaching, really good opportunity. And it's really good endurance too. We do a lot of sprints, we do a lot of hard wrestling, we do a lot of hard drilling. It's really good. It's a really good club.
And like when you first took this walk into this sport, did you see yourself getting to this level this quick?
Well, when I first got into the sport, I don't even know what I was thinking about. I was like 5, but like when I first got like into the sport when I was like 8 when I won state, I always wanted to be at this level. I always wanted to be. My goal was always to win the Olympics, and
Right.
my goal is to get closer to that goal every day. And so far, I've been successful with that.
So you sit here as a world team qualifier, getting in position to represent your country and win a gold medal. Um, what's your what's your mindset like now? I mean, how does it feel? What do you feel like? Any kind of pressures? Like where are you at mentally on getting ready to capture this or try to take this journey?
I'm thinking about getting as much in, taking in as much as I can. Especially, I'm very excited for the world team camps. I'm trying to learn as much as I can and just be completely ready to go out there. I'm mentally prepared. I know I can win. I know I can win. I'm the number one in the U.S., and the U.S. is one of the best wrestling countries every year. I know I could go out there and win. I just need to make sure that I get to my attacks and I don't let anyone else take advantage of me. I need to make sure that I'm the controller of every single match I wrestle, and I need to make sure that I get to my own stuff and I don't let other people contradict what I do.
Have you ever been to the Olympic Training Center?
No.
So, and what do you expect to get out of those trainings? Being at the training center where some of the where the best wrestlers in the country go and train at every year.
I hope I pick up a lot of good technique, a lot of little things. The little things are very important. I hope I get to pick up a lot of I remember I didn't go to the Olympic Training Center, but I had an Olympic coach help me out once. I was making a few mistakes on my lift, and it really helped me out when he helped me. And just getting to be around those people is really awesome, especially James Green. That'll be really fun for him to coach me. And I just hope they can teach me a lot of stuff to help me get better.
And so you being what would be your high school in Illinois that you would go to and wrestle at?
If I stayed in Illinois, I'd probably go to Mount Carmel. My local high school is Barrington High School, but I'm not really going there. If I stay in Illinois, I'll be at Mount Carmel.
So I'm assuming, I mean, you don't really have to say, but I'm assuming you guys may be trying to check out one of the prep schools around the country.
Yeah, I might go to Lake Highland Prep or maybe Wyoming Seminary.
Right. Yeah. of course, I know the coaches at both schools. They seem like good people. You got Palazzo down there at Prep, and you got Wyoming's the coach Cornell Robinson, who's actually going to be your world team coach.
Yeah,
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 how do you like that, man?
yeah. It's pretty cool. Get some experience with him being my coach. See how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Wyoming Seminary, great school. I mean, I feel like they just came off of their best season ever. It could be, if it's not their best season, it's probably like one of their like top, in the top 4 or 5. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean that both would be like good schools for you. I mean, I'm assuming like you excel academically. I can tell by the way you talk that you're a pretty smart kid. But what are you? So you want to be an Olympic gold medalist. So college wise, like obviously you want to wrestle in college. Like, what do you want to get out of wrestling in college?
I want to get a lot of experience. I want to get a lot of tough matches. I want to be able to wrestle a lot of guys that can push me, especially in the wrestling rooms, not just in the matches, in the wrestling rooms especially. If I can be at a college where I get to wrestle the top guys in the country, this goes for high school too, where I get to wrestle the top guys in the country every single day and just grinding, I can get that much better every day. That's the goal because that makes a big difference in the long run if you do that every single day.
So we've talked a lot about wrestling. What do you do outside of wrestling? Like just to be a kid?
Hang out with my friends. I mean, go on my phone a lot. I hang out with my friends a lot of times. I hang out with my friends after school. Sometimes I go to what do we call it? I go to my friend's house over the weekends a lot when I don't have wrestling. Just kind of depends.
When
And
you don't, when you don't have wrestling, like when do you ever have a weekend where you don't have wrestling? Because it's like you wrestle every weekend, right?
yeah, I go to a lot of my friends' houses when I don't have wrestling. I think I have wrestling. I don't have wrestling for the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna go to my friend's house this weekend.
Right. And what are some things you do? Like you pick up any hobbies?
Yeah, I mean, I play games on my phone. I don't have PlayStation or anything like that. I don't know. I just never got around to it. But like, I'll play at my friends' houses.
Like hold on, you're a kid and you don't have a PlayStation. Wow. Is that just you don't get into like video games like that, or just I mean, what kid literally like doesn't have a PlayStation or any kind of those major gaming consoles? That's wow to me. Um, but you just play games on your phone, right?
Yeah, and I watch YouTube a lot.
Yeah. So how do you at the rate that you're going, you're going to be probably one of those kids that they talk about, like a Mason Gibson or a Bo Bassett. How are you going to be able to handle the pressures of these major wrestling media outlets kind of pushing you and hyping you up at these tournaments? And are you going to be kind of will it affect you mentally because everybody's putting all this pressure on you to win, or they have you placing in this tournament or beating that guy? Like, how do you think you're going to be able to take all that?
I'll be able to take it fine because I don't think about this stuff. What I think about when I wrestle is I think about what I'm going to do. I don't think about what other people think about what I'm going to do. I think about what I'm going to go out there and do. I think about my offense. I watch film. I say, this is what I'm going to do. And I get to my offense. And even like when people say like I always hear people talk about like, what if I lose, all that stuff, instead of saying how bad it would be if you lose, how about how awesome it'd be if you won? Like that's what I think about. Like people always say how scary it is to lose. How about how awesome it is when you win the tournament? Like that's the better thing to think about. Think about that before your match, and it'll hype you up instead of getting you stressed out. That's what I do.
Do you think it's kind of like because when you start like seeing your name like tagged on whatever Instagram or whatever outlets that you're on, and somebody says, okay, I've got Munaretto losing to this guy, and then you have another media outlet they're doing predictions. They may have you losing to a guy like what would what's going to be your mindset like if you see somebody that's kind of already gonna have you finishing negatively in a tournament? Like, how do you think that will affect you?
Doesn't affect me at all. I just prove them wrong. It happened to me this weekend. Actually, I was predicted to take eighth place, and I took first place. I mean, it doesn't. affect me. It actually makes me even more motivated. It makes me more excited to go out there because every second that I'm not wrestling, I'm just thinking about it, and it makes me want to wrestle. It doesn't stress me out at all. It actually does the opposite for me. It makes me just even more excited to wrestle because I just want to prove everyone wrong. Like, if you think I'm going to lose, you could have your own opinion, but I'll go out there and my skills will speak for themselves.
Yeah, and how did you enjoy Vegas? I mean, I know it wasn't really much for kids to do. I mean, if you try to like take $1 and sneak it into one of the gambling machines and try to play something, I mean, what did you do? How did you like it?
It was a lot of fun. We went to a lot of nice restaurants, hung out with some of my friends like Seth Mendoza, had a great time, walked around a lot, went outside a little bit. We had a lot of fun.
You know, it's funny. Like some of the kids that you think, guess you got to be like 18 to gamble, right? Some of the wrestlers were gambling because it wasn't like people were really kind of going around, uh, like making sure that kids were of age. Because like the way you do it, anybody could put like $1 in a slot machine, win some money, and put the ticket into this ATM, and it automatically pop your money out without even, verifying your age. I like obviously I wouldn't think you'd have done something like that, but it was funny though because like a lot of kids were doing it, and it's like, well, the Vegas lights. I mean, was that your first time in Vegas?
Yes, it is. I've been to Reno before, but that's my first time in Vegas. The strip was also awesome. We went to see the strip. It was a little crazy, but it was fun at night. We went to see Palace and the Venetian.
Right. Because obviously, like, of course, Vegas is like the fight capital of the world. So, like, when you get there, it's like, oh, there's the MGM Grand. This is where this major fight was, or there's the T-Mobile Arena. That's where the UFC stuff is. I mean, so I guess it was kind of good. So I want to ask you, tell me about the impact of your dad, Bob. It seems like he's always like making sure that you're at your best and making sure you get to these tournaments. So tell me a little bit about your dad's impact on you as a coach, and as just being a dad.
Huge impact. He's a great dad, great coach. Always make sure I'm doing the right things. Always make sure I'm on point. Always tells me he's honest with me. He always tells me if he thinks I'm slacking or anything. He always makes sure I'm always staying on track. He's always telling me what I'm doing wrong, making sure I don't have any chinks in my armor. Just always making sure that I'm at my best. Always, he's taking me to all these tournaments because I earned them. He makes sure that he doesn't just give me anything. He makes sure that I work for everything I do, and it builds character. And I'm actually very happy about it. And I couldn't be here without him. I mean, he's my biggest coach, biggest supporter, biggest fan.
Yeah, yeah, you most definitely wouldn't be here without him. That's for daggone sure. Um, but yeah, like if you wasn't like wrestling, like let's say you just what would you be doing if you didn't wrestle? Like, what do you feel like you would do?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. This is my sport. I don't do any other sports. I would have to trace that back very far. No idea. I have no idea what I'd do without wrestling. Probably focus on academics more
Right.
if I can wrestle. I mean, I'm straight A's, but like I'd try and make sure like I'd focus a lot more on it though.
Yeah. So like when you say like we were talking about earlier, you hang out with friends. Like, do you do any other things like for like hobbies that like what is something that you do that if you told that somebody be surprised you did it?
I don't know. I have a mini hoop at my house and I play basketball. That's like pretty
I,
much.
I bet you're probably terrible at basketball. Most wrestlers are.
I mean, I'm not terrible. I just foul a lot because I don't know the actual rules, and I always apparently foul people because I just charge a lot. I guess.
Yeah. You know, I tend to ask this question a lot. If you could like have dinner with three people, living or dead, who would it be and why?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I really don't know. I have to think about that. I
Think.
uh I'd probably
So
have dinner with Michael Jordan.
And so why Michael Jordan? Is it because he's from that area or played basketball in that area? Well, why Michael Jordan?
Because he's from Chicago. I like that he's a very good competitor. I like how he talks. He always seems to be a very competitive person, and that kind of reminds me of me a little bit. And I think I get along with him pretty well. Then also Muhammad Ali, because I mean, same boat with him. I just think he's really a competitor, and he's really cool. And then also like I don't know. I'm not sure about the third one. I just think about the third one still.
It's funny because like you didn't mention like any wrestlers. Like not that that's a bad thing. I just always I just knew you would say like yeah Jordan Barrows, David Tate, somebody. I asked that question. It was funny because um, one of my first corporate jobs I ever got in an interview, that was the first question that the hiring manager like led off with. It's like, hey, my name's such and such. Here's the first question. If you could have dinner with three people, who would it be and why? And this is gonna sound crazy, but I said Fidel Castro, Saddam Hussein, and Osama bin Laden, and then they're looking at me like, what? It's like I want to know. It's because I wanted to know why they hate people so much that they are willing to do the things that they to torture people and do the things that they do to people. Like I just want to sit down and have dinner with them and figure out if there's a way that I could change their way of thinking to where they they wouldn't be so like cold hearted, wouldn't be so um, malevolent. So I just that's what I said. I mean, I got the job, but it's like that's what I said. So, but
The
I
main
mean,
reason I didn't say any
yeah,
wrestlers, I've met most of them already. Honestly, that's the main reason I didn't say any wrestlers. I've already met David Taylor, Jordan Burroughs. I've already met Kyle Dake, Isaiah Martinez. I've already met most of those guys. I was just thinking of new people.
right. Who was who's been like who's a wrestler that you feel like your style fits the most?
Kyle Dake, probably Kyle Dake. If I could say, yeah, probably Kyle Dake.
What about his and your style that kind of mesh?
He's very good at controlling ties, and he also has great shot defense. And it just kind of reminds me of myself. Like in my finals match, I gave my leg twice, didn't give up any points. I've seen him like especially against JB. Like JB will get to his leg, and he'll just completely just roll him over the top. And at the World Team Trials, actually last year, Olympic Trials.
And then, with you being as young as you are, you put a lot of demand on your body. Like what are some of the things that you do recovery wise to be able to be at your best the next day? Like, what are some of the stuff you do for recovery?
I lay down, I nap sometimes, and I just like I have a massage gun. I'll like massage myself if I'm sore. Shake out my muscles. I stretch a lot. Try and make sure my muscles are good.
Right. I actually, um, you ever heard of cryotherapy?
I have not. Well, it sounds familiar, but I'm not sure what it is.
It's where they put like your body like not like it, it's like it's where they chill your body like negative I don't know how many degrees, but you're in there for literally like 3 or 4 minutes, and it's equivalent to like a 15-minute ice bath. Um, I used to there are a couple wrestlers. I know Joe Seeley was one of them over the summer, and I would take him to go get cryotherapy because he was always hurting. There was always inflammation going on in his body. But I would recommend that, dude. It's just called I'm pretty sure that where you live there's a place with like a cryo chamber, or where you can just kind of go. It's like your head sticks out, but everything else like is kind of like you're in like shorts and like um, bedroom slippers because you don't want to get like the extremities like fingers and stuff like that. They could be like frostbitten, so like those things are covered up with like gloves in your feet. So everything else is kind of being chilled up and it's literally taking the inflammation out of your body, which is the reason why people hurt a lot. So that's just something that would probably be cool to do. What do you like? What do you eat like healthy food wise?
I eat a lot of fruit. I like fruit a lot. I eat
And
like apples, oranges, pineapple. Sometimes I'll have smoothies. I like fruit a lot.
I mean, but what's like your favorite like meat? Like you like steak? Do you like what do you
I
salmon?
I like steak a lot. I love steak.
So like after a big tournament like this one, what would be you well, I don't think you have to cut much weight for that one, but
Yeah.
what's your go-to food after a tournament and after having to make weight and you're done with the whole tournament?
Well, for this one, we did a little bit of a celebration dinner, but usually like I'm not sure. Sometimes we'll go to like a sit down place. Like sometimes I'll get Italian, I'll get pasta, or maybe we'll get steak. But this time we went to like Yellowtail because
Mm-hmm.
and that was really awesome. Like maybe the best meal I've ever had. It was actually it's very interesting. It's like not stuff that sounds crazy. The stuff that we had. We had a tuna pizza.
Tuna what?
Tuna pizza.
Dominic, right? That sound about nasty, man.
It's good. It's really good. It was at a very high end restaurant. It's super good. And then we had another one that I guarantee you'll think is nasty. It's sushi with pop rocks in it.
No, 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 no bueno, bro. I mean, like,
So
first of all, I don't even like eating
the
sushi, but
restaurant sells out of it all the time. They said it is
right.
so good. You have to have an open mind to try it. Trust me, it's really good.
I, you know what? I just might just because you said something about it. So, thinking about it, I think you said in the interview after trials. Of course, obviously you're you're Italian. I mean, so what are you going over to Rome? Like, what are you like looking at as far as like food? Are you like looking forward to eating like true Italian food? I asked
Yeah,
Jack Force the same thing.
yeah. I'm looking forward to getting some pizza, some spaghetti, maybe gnocchi.
Yeah, I mean, you're like over there. You're gonna be Domenic Munaretto.
Munaretto.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody like it, like I just pronounce it like the way we just would in America, which is Munaretto. But like, yeah, your name is like straight up Italian as can be. I don't know. I mean, I think every like that's the whole thing. Like if I was to ever go over there, that's what I do is figure out like I want to eat like true Italian food. Like everybody goes to like your Olive Garden and things like that. But I mean, you want to get like the true Italian food.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
it, what's your go-to dessert?
Um, I don't know. I really like ice cream. I really like ice cream.
You,
I
you sound
like
you sound like Jack's Forest now, but all right.
yeah, I like I don't know, I like a lot of ice cream. I like cookies and cream. Sometimes I like mint. I like I don't know, those are like my two go tos. I like strawberry too.
My biggest problem was like in like back during the fall. I started to have like this major Cold Stone addiction, and I think that it's just a national chain, so I'm sure they have one up near you. But it's just like it's just an ice cream place, and I used to get like the biggest like birthday cake remix milkshake, and I would find myself having one or two of those a week, and then I got to thinking that this can't be good. But
Yeah, I like birthday cake.
yeah, I mean, I was like, what in the world? What like it's like, what am I doing with my life? And because they're just that good. And I was like, I gotta like here I am, I'm like freaking 39 years old, man. And I'm like a freaking kid eating ice cream like twice a week. And so I kind of had to stop that. Had to kind of put the brakes. And not to mention, I mean, that them things are like $6 a pop. And I'm like, man, I could, $12. I mean, I could put I would say I could put a couple gallons of gas in the gas tank, but I don't think that's even happening with the way these prices are going up. But
Oh yeah.
you don't have to worry about that because you don't pay for gas, right?
Yeah, I hear my dad complaining about it.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. Well, you'll probably really really see like when you get out there in the real world, and you're probably like working that 9 to 5, and you're making money, and then you get a check, and then you realize that the federal government's taking half of your money. Then you got to pay bills and pay for gas, and then you'll actually probably appreciate your dad a lot more when you realize those struggles too, man. Like, I mean, dude, like, and then the bills, and then having to put wrestling on top of it. But what's what is some advice you could get to the kid that you can give to kids that are younger than you, that just kind of have a vision and a goal with being in the situation that you're in now?
Never doubt yourself. Doubt is how people lose. If you doubt yourself, what the mind believes, the body can achieve. If you believe you can do something, you can do it. If you don't believe you can do it, you cannot do it. It's all about mentality. It's all about believing you could go out there, and it's all about being willing to put in the work. Everyone says they'll put in the work. It's about the people that will put in the work, and the people that are willing to give that extra little bit when it's really hard. That's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to be comfortable in uncomfortable positions, because that's how people get to that top of the podium.
And then, and I don't know if I know it's you're you're uh you're young now, but I feel like it's gonna venture into like kids your age. You ever think of anything about the whole NIL stuff? About you ever been kind of approached with somebody saying, hey, like, we want to try to, well, normally just sponsor, or try to say, hey, we'll give you a little bit of money. I know something your dad will take care of, but you ever had any kind of NIL approaches at your age?
Well, yeah, I do actually. I am sponsored by Tri Titans.
Dominic, this would be a good time to plug that. So tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna make. I might make shirts to donate money for the Worlds, to raise money, and they just like sponsor me. They give me free gear and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
You can look at titans.com.
You know what? If you have a shirt to raise money for trials, I'll buy one. I mean, look, dude, I do appreciate you rocking the crank mat drip for me, dude. Like, I,
Heck yeah.
I yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, what's the best advice that someone's ever given you?
Well, actually, it's kind of the advice I just gave. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. Because I used to, like, when I was younger, like when I was 9 years old or something, I'd be wrestling kids. Obviously, not at the same level I'm wrestling now, but back then they were like really good to me, and I was like, I'm gonna try and make it close or something like that. But like, why would you do that instead of just wanting to go out there and try and win? Who cares if you think you're gonna lose anyways? You might as well just try and win. And that's the mindset that stuck with me. You always try and win. Always try and score points. Think about it. Don't think about who they are. Think about who you are. Think about what you're going to go do, not what they're going to go do. Because the moment that you start overestimating them and giving them too much credit and thinking that you can't hang with them, that's the minute it becomes true.
For
Because
sure.
if you think you could hang with them, if you know you could hang with them, then you could hang with them, because then you obviously you have to put in the work too. But if you're putting in the work, then it'll work out.
Right. It's it's crazy. Like, when sport, like, you're a crazy person to interview, like, on the spot, like after a match. I don't know how you come up with some of the stuff that you say. I don't. You seem like you're kind of very, very media polished. Like, have you like taken some sort of like class or something, or is it
This is
like, or
all
just
I
that?
just this is all off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, your dad said it's because of all that talking back you be doing. Yeah. Hey, listen, I was your age, I was your age, and sometimes you got to say something back, and it might be part of that, man. That's just part of being you got. I don't recommend it, but sometimes you feel like you want to talk back sometimes, and But no, man. Hey, I really do appreciate your time. I know you're. It's I reckon it's like 9:45 your time, so I know you got to get up and go to school in the morning. And you always look forward to going to school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't. Really? You like school?
I mean, I'm good at it. That's the most important thing. I don't enjoy it, but if I get good grades and I can keep it up through college, that's what's
It's,
important.
which brings you to another question. Like, I know you make good grades, but is it hard to make those grades when you're traveling all the time for wrestling and maybe having to miss that Friday to travel to get to a Saturday tournament? Like how is that for you?
Well, the rule in my house is if my grades are bad, I don't get to go to those national tournaments. So I find ways to do it. I always find a way. Like even if I have to make up a lot of work a lot of times, but I manage it to get it done. And I also do very good on all my summative projects. Summative, I don't know if this is how it is in Pennsylvania, but in Illinois, it's formative and summative. Formative is like homework and all that stuff, and then summative is like the big projects. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
think I in every single class in summative, which is the most important thing because summative is 90% of your grade.
What the heck is a summative?
Summative is like a presentation or a test, and then formative is like homework or just a normal assignment.
Wow. Okay. Show you how much I know. I mean, did I miss that part of class? Actually, I know you said PA, but because I know a lot of PA kids, I actually live in North Carolina. Um,
Oh, I forgot. I
yeah, yeah.
just mixed
Well,
it up.
it's because I know like a lot of those kids up there. I live in North Carolina. You ever heard of Wake Forest University?
Yeah, I
They're
think
not.
so. I know. I've heard of Wake Forest before. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
they don't have like a wrestling team, but like they have like a good basketball team like every now and again. But that's kind of like the area that I'm from. Like not there's like a Wake Forest, North Carolina, which is like in Raleigh, which is the state capital. But then there's like a Wake Forest University, which is in Winston-Salem. So, but yeah, like down here in North Carolina, like we're trying to kind of elevate the level, but every time we get good wrestlers, they kind of dip on us, you know. But it is what it is. I mean, I think sometimes it's just a lack of partners in this state. But hey, it's thanks for giving me your time, man. Good luck with your training and preparation for the World Championships, and I know you'll go across seas and do work and represent your country well.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. We'll see you.
Yeah. All right. Bye bye.